There have been a lot of stories happening with Halo as of recent, as we do have the massive reveal happening at HCS Seattle, which I will be at, and excited to be there for the big announcement, wherever the next projects are going to be. So I want to kind of dive in and see what could those reveals actually be, and what are these multiple projects Halo Studios keeps hinting at. We're talking a Halo CE remake details, whatever the heck Project Ekur is, Halo coming to PlayStation, some good old-fashioned studio drama, and potentially a Halo 3 remaster. Well, stay tuned throughout the whole video to understand all the details. Oftentimes I need a little hit of energy when gaming, but something that's a little less intense than, say, an energy drink or some coffee, and that's where 4XP gaming drink mix comes in. Enriched with a vitamin blend of A, E, B6, B9, and of course B12, as well as a low caffeine option that's around 23 milligrams per serving. That's 4 times less than a cup of coffee, so you won't have to deal with any of those caffeine jitters. No artificial sweeteners, which can have a nasty off-putting aftertaste. Only 10 grams of sugar per serving. That's far less than a typical energy drink. And the fun thing for all my Halo fans out there, that 4XP actually has a really strong history with the Halo experience in the community. If you actually, it's one of the first things they mentioned on their website, saying our journey began with late night sessions of Halo 3. And a fun little Easter egg on their website that all their flavors are voiced by Jeff Sticer, the voice guy from Halo. Just listen to this.
Grave Walker, legendary, ultra nightmare.
I mean, that's incredible. The great thing about 4XP is that all their processes, formulation, manufacturing, all of it is done entirely within the United States. If you guys want to help support the channel and 4XP, I got my code and link in the pinned comment and description of this video to help save you a little cash as well. So hopefully 4XP can help let your gamer out.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
So the end of this month is going to be one of the biggest months ever in the franchise and history of Halo as a whole, because we're getting the reveal of what the future of what this franchise is going to hold for us, guys. We've been so content drive for nearly a decade at this point. We've had one game of Halo Infinite, and now we're finally getting some reveal of what's going to be coming next for us, guys. And so I really wanted to dive in and bring in to you guys what is actually going to happen here. And because I'm super excited about it, it's going to drastically change everyone's perceptions of the Halo franchise moving forward. But I also want to break into like what can we actually expect to see happen with this, because Halo Studios set a heck of a precedent last year with this reveal right here of their 2024 reveal of the new studio name and the new Dawn trailer, showcasing some fun assets put into Unreal Engine, the big engine switch and things like that, which, by the way, vindication over here for Sean W after the heat that he got for talking about Halo switching to Unreal, but that's besides the point. That's outside the topic of this video. We're going to talk about, first what we're going to talk about, guys, is the main thing that we all pretty much know what's going to happen. It's the Halo CE remake. Now, this was first broken as news by Tom Warren on his paid side of his website, but basically saying that Halo Studios is working on Combat Evolved Remake. This is back in July of 2024, just a few months before the October reveal, which at the time I was like, it could be that, or it could just be that they saw that new Dawn trailer and then Tom Warren's like, oh my god, Halo CE, which definitely could be the case. But as someone who's kept a close ear to the ground for all things Halo news, Halo CE keeps being brought up, keeps getting talked about. Essentially, it sounds like it is the real thing that's going to happen. It's the main story that we've been hearing. And so I'm expecting to see something of a remake coming by. Now, what is this whole remake going to entail? Well, let me tell you, because IGN did talk about this as well at the release, and also mentioned about a consideration of a PlayStation 5 release for Halo, which would be amazing. I mean, this kind of falls in line with what we talked about earlier about with Phil Spencer saying that there are no red lines with Xbox titles moving forward. What's the one main title that hasn't come over to PlayStation? It's Halo. And right now, this October would be the perfect time to talk about this. Many people thought our big boy Phil was going to talk about Xbox games coming over to PlayStation during the Xbox showcase, but that's not really the time to make these type of announcements, especially what we've seen previously from other game studios, that for like the Forza franchise, that they've actually decided to just do Twitter posts and let people know that way, which I think right now for like a Halo exclusive environment like the HCS event, that would be the perfect time to talk about Halo coming over to PlayStation. But if you're thinking this Halo remake is going to be like the full-fledged Halo CE, don't get too excited, because most of the claims have cited that it's going to be a campaign-only experience for this Halo CE remake. And for myself, honestly, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Halo CE's multiplayer was groundbreaking for the time. Emphasis for the time, because right now, I really don't have any interest to play this multiplayer really at all, especially since it's available already in the Master Chief Collection and just be playing the same thing over again. So I'm totally fine with it, because I would only just play the CE remake just for like the member berries, and then I would just move on to whatever I was playing. But that's kind of the whole idea of the CE remake, is to get people back in being interested in Halo once again, because you know everybody is going to be playing this remake. But when it comes to Halo Combat Evolved Remake, I think we're going to get a pretty well in-depth look at what's going to be offered for this game. Recently revealed in this blog update of HCS and what they're going to expect, like, it was pretty revealing in what they're going to talk about, saying back in June we let the community know that we'd be continuing the conversation from last year's Halo WC and the new Dawn video, and sharing more about what we've been working on. Like last year, we'll be on the main stage to talk about it, but this year we've also got a deep dive panel planned for the community stage that you won't want to miss. And this is happening early on Friday afternoon, October 24th. Usually they save these big announcements for the big Sunday right before the grand final, so we're gonna be like swimming in nostalgia hype for like the whole weekend, it seems like. Some recent information just came out just a few days ago talking about how this remake's actually happening, and how Halo Studios doesn't really seem to be too hands-on with it, as the Halo Combat Evolved remake is being developed by Halo Studios and Abstraction Virtuous Studios, a hybrid engine with Unreal 5. They're saying it's going to be pretty much the same way that Xbox Studios did this earlier in the year with the Oblivion remake that came out this year, which was super successful for Microsoft. So I can only imagine them trying to capture that same feeling once again to try to get people excited about Halo, with leaning into some nostalgia, having a nice coat of paint with Unreal Engine 5, but then still utilizing the classic Blam engine that the classic Halo games were built on to do all the physics and calculations, which has always been the biggest concern with switching Halo from the Blam engine over to Unreal, is being able to capture that feel. Now, I've heard from other devs that being able to replicate what a engine can do, it's really just math and equations, so it's something that can be done, but you have to be so meticulous with it, and that's one of the biggest concerns we have with Halo Studios running this whole thing. But of course, drama follows everything with Halo, and one thing that's been going around with the community since this big CE remake is basically the biggest non-secret ever, is that people are talking about, like, what if things genuinely change, like significantly, for this project. Kelsky, one of the popular YouTubers out here, saying, I'm gonna keep it $1.50, if at any point during the CE remake trailer the weapon lowers into a sprint animation, it's over. And I totally get that sentiment, because remaking a game like Halo Combat Evolved, you need to recreate the experience, and that doesn't have sprint. But keep in mind though, Bungie tried to put sprint in the Halo previously. In early test builds of Halo 2, they tried to do sprint in that game, and they ended up just cutting after time, just because, well, Halo 2's development was literally the definition of development hell. But it was very interesting to see like how this kind of stuff was thought of already way before it was ever truly introduced in a full product of Halo. Like, I'm just picturing the moment here when you first walk onto the Halo ring, and right here you see him like do the pan up to see the Halo ring. Oh, wow. And then sprint across the bridge. You know, you just hear some massive groans of people just being like, oh, you had to change it. You just had to. But I'm not gonna lie, I would kind of look forward to something new or fresh being added into the experience of playing Halo C, rather than just getting a straight up coat of paint. But of course, trying to change such a iconic game within gaming history feels almost sacrilege at that point. But there is actually one person out there who actually brought out a decent idea of what they could change with Halo Combat Evolved, and it was the former dev who basically did all the art for Bungie, replying to a tweet from Ryan McCaffrey, the senior editor over at IGN, talking about like the idea of this remake is just kind of wild and don't see why you would do this. The former Halo art director, Marcus Leto, he even has his initials on the bottom of Master Chief's shoe, said, what if cut missions, weapons, characters, and storyline elements were reintegrated along with more contemporary core mechanics that improve gameplay while remaining faithful to the original? Which everyone hears that, they go, okay, yeah, that sounds exactly what I would want personally. I want something more or something different, or something changed, something added to this experience. But my big concern is that most of the things that Marcus Leto was mentioning were pretty general, right? Especially adding in contemporary gameplay mechanics. How contemporary are we talking about? I mean, was that his nice way of saying add sprint to Halo CE? I don't know. Maybe add a clamber? I mean, there's things you can do with it. But I do feel like if you're going to utilize the original engine with a fresh coat of Unreal 5 paint over it, most likely it probably won't have sprint or anything like that. They'll probably keep it pretty true to the original, much like they did with the Oblivion remake. But this is going to be the big showcase we're going to get for Halo's revealed at the end of this month, which I will be at HDSL. I'll cover it with you guys. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see it before the big release. I don't know. I mean, I'll be there and talking with people. We'll see what happens. But this is the big thing to expect. I think we're going to get some actual gameplay. We're going to get some actual shots, some glamour shots, and some gameplay as well. So I'm definitely excited about this. Fully expect this to release in 2026, as that was basically heavily hinted with the biggest wink and a nod ever I've ever seen Phil Spencer do on a major broadcast like the showcase of 2025. But hey, if there's going to be a sprint, the crowd at the HS event will definitely let Halo Studios know. But that's not going to be everything, because we've heard this from Halo Studios multiple times, saying that they are working on multiple projects on right now for the Halo franchise. What's the other project we keep hearing about? Not really much about like a full-fledged Halo game, but more about a standalone multiplayer experience. That standalone title being the Project Ekur, which is something we've kind of heard off and on about a little bit, some rumblings here and there, but not a whole lot of details. So I'm going to try to give you guys everything that we know right now about this project, which this information mainly comes from Rebs Gaming. He's been a great source of kind of leaked information when it comes to all things Halo. But saying the key points are that Project Tatanka was started by 343, shut down, and then handed over to Certain Affinity. That Tatanka was canceled, and also Certain Affinity started rebranding Tatanka into Project Ekur around that same time of 2022. And then also 343's development team wasn't given much insight into Ekur, so they've been kind of really hands off with it, and then Certain Affinity just kind of run with it a little bit, where Tatanka then turned into Ekur. So it seems like it's going to be Battle Royale, large scale mode type of experience, but something different than just a Battle Royale. Saying the Ekur file still exists within Halo Studios database, meaning it's not to be canceled yet, but there's still a lot to be unknown about it. That's all we really know, is that this is kind of like built off of the ashes of the Battle Royale. And while it would be interesting to see if it ends up being a standalone Battle Royale experience, like a extra add-on to what you can play with the Halo multiplayer side of things, but it'd be very interesting to see what happens with, like, if they decide to go like this route moving forward, where like you have a campaign you can play with Halo CE, and then this standalone multiplayer with Ekur, which seems to be like its own individual mode, which could be good. I mean, having its own modes can be very interesting, right? We haven't really experienced anything like that with Halo, with like these pieced together experiences. We're used to having like a standalone platform where you can play everything out of that one game, be it Halo Infinite or Master Chief Collection, or Halo 5, right? You never really had these kind of individual experiences. We were kind of having that now with Infinite and the Master Chief Collection, but we'll see like how this actually would play out. How a Battle Royale would actually be fun in Halo, it could be. But has that ship sailed? I mean, it was popping back in 2018 and 2020 with Warzone, but we're in 2025 now. And we've seen how other major shooters try to capitalize on trends, and we've seen how Halo tries to follow trends and doesn't exactly seem to do it very well. And I'm sure a lot of people want to see Halo lead in examples of shooters rather than constantly following the footsteps of whatever's popular out there. But of course, with the cost of game development, you had to really go with the sure thing when it comes to these large scale games. And A sure thing would be a battle royale. You'll definitely would get people interested. I mean, this is Jack Frax's gameplay playing the battle royale in a Forge mode by the Forge Falcons. I mean, there was definitely interest for something like this in there. Now, but personally, I would like to see like a more large-scale kind of mode that's maybe a little bit of battle royale, maybe a little bit of extraction, maybe something that's just new, different, or new twist on something rather than just being their Halo's version of whatever's popular. One thing I've always wanted to see be brought into Halo was this cut mode from Halo Reach in the early development. Was a mode called Global Battle. This was supposed to be a super large-scale cinematic type of mode that, assuming, was probably going to be 16, 18 players, maybe even 20 players on the same team in a PvE type of environment, which would be super exciting to see if they can pull something like this off. Or if, of course, you do a PvE or PvP kind of stuff, like basically think of like big team battle, but just in larger scale with different types of modes, more cinematic type of vibe to it. This is something I would find to be super exciting. Or if you try to do something like this, let's say like in a Star Wars Battlefront style, that would be really exciting. But again, I just want something new and different and exciting. I don't want to see like the same thing that Halo's just kind of following trends, or Halo's just kind of just doing what the most popular thing or most financially stable option. But what could we really see of Project Ekur at the AHCS event? My guess would be that we'll probably just get a little bit of a tease, a little bit of like a snippet, kind of like what we got basically with like a New Dawn trailer, but for multiplayer. Unless they decide to release Ekur alongside the project of the Halo CE remake, which would be mind-blowingly awesome. I mean, personally, I would doubt that, but a boy can dream. Now, we touched on this earlier in the video, but then there's this actual section we're gonna actually really talk about this. This is gonna be a major announcement that's gonna change the course of the Halo franchise moving forward, and that's gonna be Halo coming over to PlayStation. This tweet right here kind of made some rounds, really, with 400,000 views for a Halo tweet. That's pretty good. Saying honestly, I don't think they expect this to come across today, but I can now officially confirm a Halo game is coming very soon to PlayStation. As of now, there is no sign or version of a Nintendo Switch, but he's currently digging at the moment. But this is the most we've heard about it so far. My guess would be that it would be the Master Chief Collection or the Halo CE remake being announced coming over to PlayStation, which I fully expect that to come over to PlayStation. If the Gears remake went to PlayStation, you know the Halo remake's coming over to PlayStation as well. But at this point, why wouldn't the Master Chief Collection come over to PlayStation? Halo's the only franchise, I think now at this point, at least the major franchises of Xbox, to not make the jump over to PlayStation. So now would be the time to make that announcement. The Master Chief Collection would be the perfect time to get people to jump into play, and it would just boost populations like crazy. PlayStation players would finally get the chance to truly experience the glory days that we had throughout the 2000s of the glory Xbox era days, and be able to experience Halo for the first time. I mean, this would be amazing. And of course, like, you know, Halo is already on PlayStation technically, because wasn't it kind of weird to see like the PlayStation Studios logo with Helldivers 2, but then you start hearing the ODST music start playing? I mean, like, such a well done trailer over here by Arrowhead Studios, but like they really did a great job of just recreating the Halo ODST aesthetic in a PlayStation game. So I mean, we're almost there, guys. Like, Halo's coming to PlayStation. I'm looking forward to it. We need more people to play, man, especially with like basically what's the situation now with Xbox. They need to recoup some costs because they're not making it through console sales or exclusives. So they need to jump in with, you know, the pit and try to love someone as well. Love it, those people being the PlayStation and Nintendo executives. And yes, you heard correctly, I did make a Kid Rock reference in a commentary. Call that for a first. But of course, it wouldn't be a Halo development story video without some Halo studio development issues and drama. Recently, we've seen the art director of 343 or Halo Studios for the last few years now being part of the team, mentioning that today was his last day, but the way he worded it was very interesting. There is little more I can say for the moment, though I intend to share this particular story in its entirety when it is absolutely safe to do so next year. I know the state of our industry seems dire, but never forget that you are free to choose. No illusion of security nor promise of wealth or fame or power is worth trading away your health, your dignity, your ethics, or values. Very interesting thing to say after leaving Halo Studios. And the chief of staff of Halo Studios right here, Melissa Boone, recently left the studio as well to go join up with Riot Games back in September, not too long ago. And having some major people within your development studio leave before like the major announcement of the game itself is very concerning. Whenever major management leaves a game development cycle before the release of it, it's incredibly concerning. We saw this throughout the entirety of Halo Infinite. So is history repeating itself? I don't know. This next report's out too exciting though, from Windows Central, where a dev says that nobody is really happy about the quality of the next game. And I'm just like, man, that I don't want to see. I'm so tired. I'm tired, man. There's just been so many times, man, where like Halo and 343 has been so close to just getting it right, but then they change up something that's obviously shouldn't be changed to make it to their own vision. And that's just, it can just be incredibly frustrating to deal with, man. And it's history repeating itself. I mean, it's still a Microsoft product. It's ultimately still a Microsoft ran game. Like, yeah, you can blame it on 343 themselves, but of course you still have Microsoft pulling the strings in the back, that things basically kind of the same way of like Activision with Call of Duty. Like, yeah, you have an Infinity Ward and Treyarch making their games, but Activision's gonna tell the puppet how to dance, you know, basically. And I'm kind of assuming the same kind of thing's gonna happen here. We're like, yeah, you can make your CE remake, you can make your Project Ekur event, but make sure you can do X, Y, and Z to make as much money as possible. The developer specifically said, I don't think anyone is really happy about the quality of the product right now. And the developer told this news outlet that there has been a lot of tension and pep talks trying to rally the folks to ship. Now, game development is very stressful, especially when you have so much pressure like you do with developing Halo. I mean, the last few games have not hit as well as I'm sure Microsoft has intended. So yeah, there was a lot of pressure on Halo Studios to try to make the best game, which can cause tensions and, you know, directional changes. But it just sounds so vaguely familiar to what we heard from the rumblings of the development of Halo Infinite. But that's them making their entirely new game. That's a whole new live service open world. We're talking about like a remake of Combat Evolved. Like, shouldn't that be pretty straightforward? I don't know. Maybe they're talking about other projects like Ekur or whatever, like maybe like next Halo 7 could be, as like where the tension is really hitting. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And yes, you did hear me right at the top of this video, guys. Halo 3 anniversary isn't happening. I know this is a long shot on this one right here, but you know, we've had CE remade, we've had Halo 2 remake, Halo CE is getting remade again. Halo 2's remake back in 2014 still holds up really well. The game is still graphically amazing, but nothing with Halo 3 until now. Again, stick with me on this one because Grunt.api tweeted this out. It's just a random image of just like a comet flying by in the night sky. Now, if you're a long-term Halo fan, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this image right here? It's the beginning of Halo 3. I mean, like, there's no other way you can see this. Now, I actually did reach out to Grunt API directly. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, really, what do you mean? What do you mean about this? And his response was just, you'll find out. Which this would be an easy dub for Halo Studios to remake Halo 3. It's the best Halo game out there. I mean, people can argue about that, but we can all agree that, like, Halo 3 is one of the best Halo games ever made, and it has not been remade, and graphically definitely shows its age as a 2007 game. But this definitely could be like the and extra thing that they could mention, and all you get is like maybe like a snippet, a little tease, kind of like we did with like the 2018 reveal of Halo Infinite. But I mean, Halo 3 Remastered would be amazing. I would play it. Personally, I don't think we need it. I'd rather focus on new experiences rather than relying so much on nostalgia when it comes to Halo. I mean, it's an easy dub, and that's what Halo really needs at most right now. It's just an easy win because we've been struggling for so long. But I also want to see the franchise move forward rather than just focus so much on the past. But let me know if you feel the same, guys. If you're going to be at HTSCL, let me know in the comments down below and say hi and all that good stuff. This is my long-winded video to get you guys excited about what we're going to see for Halo. I'm excited about it. We'll definitely talk about it, whatever gets revealed, in depth, thoroughly on the channel here. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.